do a lot of, I wouldn't say I'm like a super traditional woman,
Yeah.
but I cook every day, and I know how to cook, and out of all my friends, none of my friends know how to cook.
Yeah.
They're all like 25, 26, they don't
Yeah.
even know how to cook, which for me is like bizarre.
Right. So, how to keep your husband? Okay. So this is a obviously Saadia is a famous personality, and she does a lot of commentary on relationships and gives a lot of relationship advice. And yeah, we are getting marriage advice, to make your marriage divorce proof. And the first thing she mentioned is what? Cooking. Well, yes, so the way to a man's heart, they say, is through his stomach. So if you cook for your husband and do well, believe it or not, that might seem like a very simple thing. It can actually save your marriage because it adds value to his life. That's what men like, okay? Adding value to his life.
And my mum used to make me watch her peel like 20 onions and like 50.
Even the youngest, because in our family, like as they got you're the youngest,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm
As they got younger, they got more and more useless.
Yeah,
And you're not in yours.
Want a little bit of something.
But they don't say it as well.
Yeah,
They don't say it, and especially when kids come, they get jealous of like how much attention now goes to the child.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. This is a common cause. Men, and this is something they don't talk about. When they have children, one of the things that happens a lot, and one of the reasons why cheating is a lot higher after they become fathers, is because they go from having the woman's entire world to now she's just with the kids, and she's just all day every day with the kids, and they get jealous.
I didn't know
They
that.
want attention, so they seek it elsewhere rather than saying it. Because you come home and she's busy and they crave her again, and they don't get access to her as much, and so they start to get jealous and resentful, and instead of saying it, they go elsewhere. And this is one of the common problems.
Yes, this is true. This is a common problem. Men, obviously, when they get married, they're used to getting the attention from the wife, and then when they have kids, the focus becomes the kids. Now, what a man will do, because he does also value his own children, of course, he will understand that the focus needs to be on the kids, so he won't demand his wife's attention, because he doesn't want the focus to be taken off of the kids, because he does value the children and the right they have over the mother. So yes, then they do seek attention elsewhere. Is there a solution to this problem? Yes, there is a solution to the problem, and that is, I think, in previous societies, what happened was it was not only the mother and father that raised the kids, it was the extended family that sort of helped pitched in. So your wife's sister or her aunt or your mother-in-law or etc., they used to step in and take the kids sometimes to give the parents time alone together.
They have. And then when they lose their family, like, shit, I want my family back. Because they were craving attention, not craving that other woman. That other woman is usually meaningless.
Yeah. It's always meaningless, the other woman.
Other women, I always say to men who come to me and they're saying, oh, I'm thinking about leaving my wife for my mistress. And I always say, your wife is a package and your mistress is a person. She comes with kids, shared memories, your families know each other, it's an entire package. Are you going to be okay with losing that for your one person? Because you're going to wake up and you're not going to hear the pitter-patter of your kids running down and fighting with each other, or you're going to be with this woman and your mum isn't going to call to see how she's doing, and all of these things that are a package when you're with a person for a long time. Are you sure you want to throw that away for one brand new person? Because they can't fill that void. And then they think about it and then they realize that they were actually just chasing a bit of attention.
Yeah, I mean, stupid men leave their wives for their mistresses. The mistress is the accessory to the relationship you already have, okay? Not the main cause. That's why it's a mistress. But so to leave your wife for the mistress would be dumb, would be a stupid thing, and men who do that are stupid, right? But there is also the possibility of having another wife, which is now something entirely different. And in that case, you don't have to, it's not, and in any case, whether it's a wife or a mistress, it's not an either or for men. That's the point I think that Saadia misses. When you put a man into this box where it's an either or, they have to choose between a wife or a mistress or between multiple wives or multiple women, you take away their masculinity. That's not a normal masculine frame. The normal masculine frame is that you have your wife and she's your wife, period, end of story. Nothing can infringe on her no matter what you do. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have 10 mistresses, your wife is your wife. That's an actual masculine frame. That wife feels comfortable and secure in the knowledge that her husband will never leave her for another woman, right? That is the real masculine. All the G's that you know in the world, you know, all the heavy hitters, all the, you know, from time immemorial had multiple women, but it was never a choice of having to choose between. Okay, that is pushing yourself out of the masculine frame. You don't have to choose. You can have them all if you want.
Yeah, because you don't realise that actually men need a lot of attention.
Oh, babies. They're babies. They're just tall babies, but they pretend that they don't. They mask it. They're like, I don't care. No, I'm fine. But they crave it, and instead of saying it, they seek it.
There is a shortage of 500,000 machine learning and artificial intelligence professionals, keeping...
Yeah.
When all you have to do is express it. And of course she's got two hands. She might be busy and she might not be able to meet your needs. And some women are really difficult about that. They just think, well, get over it. But we don't just get over it. We have to try. This is how relationships work. You have to try. And so the women that think, get over it, like, I've got kids, get over it, it's a slow suicide for their marriage. But the women that think, oh shit, maybe I need to, you know, get back on track with you, they tend to save their marriages.
Yeah, because I even know, like, I've seen a few marriages fall apart, and it always comes down to attention. And communication.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you is, we've spoken about women being hard to date in Dubai. Why are the men hard to date here in Dubai?
Because they enjoy toxicity. They enjoy toxicity. They enjoy pleasure.
What do you mean by that?
Because Dubai is a pleasure seeker's island. Yeah, and by the way, I still want my visa, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but it is a pleasure seeker's island. What I mean by this is there's constant dopamine all day, every day. Praise be to God. Look at your view. Like, look at the dopamine when you look at your view and stuff. This is what Dubai is like. Every day is pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. So what happens is the brain starts to seek pleasure rather than peace. And when men or women, when they meet someone peaceful, they label it as boring. And they're always seeking somebody who gives them some form of pleasure or dopamine. And the best person that gives you dopamine is a toxic attachment. What happens with a toxic attachment is you get preoccupied with that person. You're thinking about them, where are they, why were they called, blah, blah, blah. And that toxic attachment, they mislabel that as love. And it's just preoccupation. So they forget to look for peace. They consider somebody where it's boring, simple, monotonous, they consider that boring.
But isn't, like, the thing is, I get what you're saying, but don't you think, like, when you are in a monotonous, boring relationship, it can get boring. So how can you...
But here's the thing, life gets boring.
Yeah.
It's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People are constantly thinking, but my marriage has gotten boring, how do I change it? Well, how do you change it? Maybe you need to change your mindset and accept that life gets boring.
But surely you can just change your mindset about, like, trying to make things more exciting, and you can try and work on stuff and just become different. You know, because over time, when you meet someone from the start to, 10 years down the line, you change.
Yeah.
You have different interests, you have different things that you like,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Mhm.
But, like, surely, like,
How do you maintain
how
that?
do you maintain that? How do you...
You know what, my honest advice, I always say this to people, is of course it gets monotonous and difficult, but when you meet somebody, girl or guy, who kind of accepts that life gets a bit boring and understands that not every day is pleasure, but more so wants intimacy, connection, and stability rather than excitement, you're onto a marriage. Because that's what marriage is. It's not, you habituate to your partner, you get used to them. And people that seek stability, if you look at your parents' lifestyle, and the ones that have lasted so many years, there's very little excitement. It's duty. It's duty, stability, predictability that they look for in a relationship.
Okay, so this is also one of the reasons why marriages don't last in the modern world with modern women and men, is because they just crave excitement non-stop. Okay, the dopamine hit. They want excitement non-stop. And any long-term relationship is going to become boring because life and progress requires stability, and stability requires routine, and routine can get boring. And so when people want excitement, dopamine, fun, those type of people can never, ever sustain a marriage. What people crave for, what people want when they get married initially is stability. So this is the conundrum of the human being, by the way. We want stability, we want to feel safe, and so we do everything in our lives to create routine, to create order, to feel safe, etc. Then the minute we have all those things set up, finally, we start to feel bored. This is the conundrum of the human being, right? We start to feel bored. Now we start to disrupt the safety we created in order to create excitement and instability, because life has now become too safe and too monotonous and too, too much of the same. And this is when people start cheating, having affairs, etc., to create that excitement again, etc., because they crave the emotional highs of the new relationship, so to say, right? And this is the mistake we make as people, but it's compounded times 100 when you have lived this modern bling lifestyle. When you've lived a life of partying, of travel, of this and that, of seeking novelty constantly. Basically, it's a promiscuous lifestyle. In fact, one of the signs of promiscuity is someone who lived the life of party. A person who lived the life of party, hands down, was promiscuous, man or woman, okay? But that is often what people are, especially women, are attracted to men like that. So, which is why a lot of women end up with promiscuous men, because it's attractive, right? Promiscuous men offer them excitement and fun, and women crave excitement and fun. And then when things get out of hand, on the other hand, then they start saying, okay, now they want to settle down, they want loyalty, they want stability. When they get it, they can't handle it, and then they end up cheating. So this is sort of the conundrum with why you should avoid these types of women, right?
And that's what they strive for. They don't actually look for pleasure seeking and excitement. And I think, unfortunately, and I'm guilty of this as well, when the relationship loses its excitement, we assume it's lost its love.
Yeah.
But really it's lost its novelty. And novelty is only available in new relationships. So what happens is people are craving the feeling in new relationships rather than enjoying the stability of existing relationships.
Wow, that's so true.
That was a good line.
That was a good
I made that up on the spot, but it sounds good.
Literally, it sounds, I think sometimes, even I've seen a lot of marriages fail because, they're like, it's
Craving
monotonous,
novelty.
it's boring, or she's boring, or he's boring.
And it's how society's conditioned us. I remember when I was a kid watching TV, I'd have to sit through adverts and be bored through the adverts, or even in the cinema, I'd be bored in the adverts. But now there's no time for boredom. It's like quick, watch the next thing, 3-minute video. We don't create a culture of boredom or monotony or patience. We create pleasure. And as a result, that translates into real life. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she's really, really bright, and we were talking about how they're going to invent flying cars. And she's like, we can save so much time, no traffic. And I said, I know, but traffic is the only time where I'm forced to be patient. And I think I need it because I've got ADHD, I'm so impatient. Traffic is the only time I've got no control. I have to be patient. If we remove the parameters that create patience in society, in relationships, we become zero tolerance. That's why I think it is.
Yeah, because I feel like we've become zero tolerance now.
Zero tolerance, it has to be novelty, it has to be exciting.
Even when you hear some people go, I want a man that has this, I want a man that has this, or even people in relationships now where they might do one thing and they're like, right, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
do you feel like
disposable.
society's
We've gotten disposable. Everything is disposable. If you like, we've gotten, and that's why I say society trickles down into relationships. It's not, you can't divorce the two. So what goes on society will be manifested in your relationship. So if we have a relationship with society where Amazon Prime, you get something straight away, or something like cheap clothes, so you throw them out, or whatever it is, you replace, that becomes a culture in your relationships as well. So one small thing, quick, let's get rid of it and start again. And that's the culture we have now.
What do you think, like, women are going to struggle with in the next few years with relationships?
I think what they'll struggle with is they're going to lose touch with their authenticity. And what I mean by that is because we're so driven to become something else now, either look a certain way, dress a certain way, act a certain way, act like a bad bitch or whatever it is, what women and most people crave is an authentic, solid connection. And what we're going to struggle with and we're going to see a rise in is people becoming inauthentic to get acceptance and to get notoriety. And so what that's going to look like is a bunch of fake connections and then a very hollow sense of self in the future.
Okay, so good advice. I think we're already experiencing that now in real time. And basically, in short, what you can get from the advice given here and the little commentary that I've made is that if you want to be a good wife, be the boring woman. And if you want to be a good husband, be the boring man. Because a boring woman is a good wife. The woman who can sit in her house and be contented with cooking, with cleaning, with going out once in a while, with going for a nice walk, okay, with not needing to spend a whole lot of money to have fun, with not needing the glitz and the glamour, right, is a good wife. She'll be a good mother. She's a good wife, okay? Similarly, the man who's contented with tinkering on his car outside in the driveway, you know, staying at home, going out now and again with his friends, not every night, you know, to participate in, I don't know, watching a game or doing things men do, whatever he likes or sport that he's into, that's usually a good husband. A man that constantly craves novelty is going to be a promiscuous man, and a woman that constantly craves novelty is going to be a promiscuous woman, and or she will not give you any peace because she'll always find the man lacking somehow. Okay, he's not exciting enough. So that is my advice. Go for the boring person. Okay, and if you think there's a problem with that, the problem is with you. You don't have enough spiritual depth as a person to be able to have a rich internal spiritual life to keep you in a space of peace. Basically, you don't have that, which is why you're constantly going to need external stimulation from glitz and glamour from Dubai, right, to sort of distract you from the depravity that you are suffering from inside you, okay? You need to distract yourself constantly because you can't sleep at night. So that is a spiritual problem you need to address. Thank you very much.